Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Lucky Me. It is your host, Mila Lopez, here to welcome you to my humble abode, my safe space. So, as you can see by the title of this video, we are going to be reading some Reddit stories today, some spooky, ghostly, paranormal activity Reddit stories today. And I'm also going to give you a couple of my stories, a couple of things I know, a couple of things I have stored in the vault of my mind, and things I've experienced on my own because it is the month of October and I'm trying to get all this content out and I'm trying to feel like it's spooky season for real. Like it's actually that time of year. So here we are. All right. So let me look at my notes real quick because all right, so it's really clear we've got some skeptics. We've got a lot of people who don't believe in the paranormal, who don't believe that we linger after we pass or that any piece of us sticks around. Today, I have some stories that I think might change your mind if you are one of these people. If not, stick around just for fun. Why not? Literally, why not? I have my computer here and I've gathered, I think, around 4 stories. Yeah, honey. So strap in, grab some snacks, grab popcorn, grab your beverage of choice, and yeah, get under a blanket because you might get a little spooked. All right. This one is called My Ghost Chad, and it is posted by Pure Pangolin 4332. I need to share this with someone because for the first time since moving into this house, I finally saw him. I moved into this house over 10 years ago. Since moving into this house, my room has always felt weird to me. Then one day, my light started flickering, but just in my room. I thought the house was old, so I thought nothing of it. But then things started falling off my desk and shelves. Again, I was trying to rationalize it, so I thought I could just be really clumsy or my walls were bumping things off. I don't know. Then I decided to try and see by placing my book further away from the edge. I saw it sliding slowly off my desk and fall, all while the lights were flickering. That pretty much solidified it for me that there's something in my room. So I go about my life making peace with whatever there is, and I name my ghost Chad because he acts like a teenage frat boy in my college. Okay. More things started happening, and we came to the understanding fast forward to about a month ago. I started More things started happening and we came to an understanding. Fast forward to about a month ago, I start seeing this girl who is also into paranormal activity. I start telling her about Chad and how much of an ass he is. He's not malevolent, he's just a dick. Okay. Clock it. I mean, I get it. I get it. I actually have a story that could coincide with this. I keep saying this over and over. Somehow, I think Chad heard it. Last night, I was getting ready for bed and my light started flickering. I said goodnight to Chad, as he'll do that sometimes, turn off the lights for me, but this time he doesn't. So I turn off my lights and I start scrolling on TikTok. As I'm doom scrolling, I get really cold. This is normal as the vents are all routed to my room, but the AC is off. I peeked over my phone and I look to my closet. I see a tall figure leave and walk to the edge of my bed. I'm not paralyzed, nor was I scared. So it couldn't have been the Hat Man. I love how we all collectively know who the Hat Man is. It leaned down and revealed a face with his eyes closed, not smiling or anything, just a blank expression. I immediately turned my flashlight on and he's gone. I ended up falling asleep with it on, but it left me wondering, was that Chad? I don't know what this means. He's never shown up in my room physically. I'm afraid that what I saw was not him, or it was something mimicking him. If it is something malicious, how can I get rid of it safely? Binding it to something, banishing? I'm worried that the longer it's here, the worse it's going to get for me. Someone said, he said, you just want to talk shit? Say it to my face. Period. Yeah, I mean, okay, well, I don't know if he's asking me specifically for advice. sage the whole house. Open the windows, pass an egg on yourself. I don't know, but I actually have a super similar story to this Chad story. I don't think, well, I mean, I guess I have a couple. I also name my ghosts, so I think that that's why I can relate to it. I had, okay, when I first moved into this house, the house that I'm in right now, it was just me and my mom for a while. So I remember she was using the bathroom just like door open, mother daughter. Sorry. She just didn't care. It was like late night. I was about to go to sleep. She was about to go to sleep. She just had the door like slightly creaked open. And I was going to the kitchen to get water. So I'm like pouring water in the glass, right? So the way that my kitchen is situated, it's like my kitchen right in front of me. To my right, it's the door to the bathroom, so I can kind of see my mom. And then behind me is like obviously the dining area or just the rest of the kitchen, and then a room to the dining room because it used to be the dining room at the time. My house layout has changed a lot because we turned the living room into a room, etc. But at the time it was a dining room. So it's kitchen, door to the dining room, but I can't see the door to the dining room because it's behind me. So the only thing I can kind of see from my peripheral is like the edge of the microwave that is about to be by the doorway. Like I can't fully make out the doorway to the dining room, and I can see my mom because she's more in my peripheral. She's right there. I'm pouring water and I kind of see something from the corner of my eye, like almost by the dining room. So I turn my head. But again, I'm like in the perfect view of my mom. Like my mom can see me perfectly. So she's like, she makes a face and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Nothing. I thought I saw anything. I saw something." So I'm like pouring my water, continuing what I was doing. And then I see it again, like from the corner of my eye, like it's like white blob. I'm like, and my mom's like, "What'd you see? What are you seeing?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And I start to like feel weird. I'm like, I know I'm not tripping. And she looks at me, she's like, "You saw her, right?" Stop. And I start laughing. I'm like, "No, what are you talking about? Haha." I guess in the moment, like she just knew what I was talking about and what I had seen without me saying anything at all, that it freaked me out. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's not like a optical illusion. Like there's someone in our house. There's someone in our house. And so basically, what I was seeing from the corner of my eye was like this little girl, blonde, white dress. And my mom tells me, as I tell her, like, no, I'm laughing. She's like, you saw her, right? Again. And I'm like, yeah, right. After I'm trying to remember this. This is years ago, but I'm like laughing, and then I stop laughing, and I'm like, yeah. And she's like, she's wearing white, and I'm like, yeah. And then I go lace because I told her I'm like it's made of lace, but it's just so weird to me because she knew exactly what she looked like. She told me her dress and the color of what she was wearing before I even told her anything. Like I'm literally sitting there looking hysterical. So yeah, named her Carrie because she was really young and obviously like that's probably bad. Like I don't know, I like horror and I've always liked Carrie's story and I feel like Carrie was just like really misunderstood and like she didn't deserve, Carrie like the musical, Carrie the movie. Um so I took inspiration from that, but she was not moving shit around the house or doing anything crazy. She really was just standing there, making herself known sometimes, and it gave me the energy of like she died really young and like she doesn't even understand like where she's at or like what's going on. And I remember talking to my mom and her being like, yeah, girl, you need to pray for her. Like she's been here. We don't know for since how long, like whatever, whatever." And it's so crazy because we were thinking, we know the owner of the house at the time, he was still living. So the owner of the house was like this older, like imagine like some like the grandpa from Up, like older man owns the house, and like he said that his entire family had owned the house next door which he lived in at the time and then mine. And so I'm thinking maybe it was an old family member, like maybe it was I don't know, he has a lot of like nieces and whatever, but we never really asked. So yeah, and Carrie stuck around for a while, and that kind of reminds me of Chad because, well, I mean, Chad showed himself, if that's what we think Chad did. I think that was Chad, unless we think that he's someone's mimicking Chad, but I'm pretty sure that was just Chad. I mean, in my opinion, Chad was like, "You're talking about me? I heard you were looking for me. I heard you were looking for me. Here I am." Yeah, so I guess so. I mean, there's not really, I can't even imagine, you're not on earthly plane. Like, you don't understand what's going on. Like, you just died, possibly traumatically, possibly horribly, possibly too soon, and now you're just in a like, people are just randomly in your house, and you don't even understand. Like, you don't even have like an like understanding of time. Like, you don't even understand time. You don't know what's going on. Like, it's literally, anyway, me trying to like understand what a ghost feels. But we prayed Carrie away. We did. Um, and talking of ghosts that we named, at the same time, we had a ghost and his name was Frank. Well, we named him Frank. I have no idea what his life on, like, while he was alive, what his name was or who he was. But this guy reminds me of Chad for real. I think Carrie reminded me of Chad just because we're naming our ghosts, but Frank for real was actually doing things. Like, he wasn't flicking the lights, but one day I remember my mom comes in my room and I was just chilling in my room again, late night, like about to go to sleep, probably like 9, chilling on my phone. And she's like, "Did you just shower? Or are you going to shower?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "The shower is on." And at that point, it was like after Frank had been like throwing my mom's medicine off the counter, like opening cabinets, but it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't like, "I'm trying to kill you. I'm trying to break your shit." It was giving like, "Oops, knock that over. Wonder who did that." Or, "Oops, running up your water bill for fun." Like, that's literally the vibe he gave. I think that's why we named him Frank, because it's just like, what are you doing, Frank? Frank, here he goes again. Like, and it was constant. It was like a member of our family at that point, because it's like, oh, why are my pills on the floor? Oh, Frank. Frank did that. Oh, can't find my keys. Frank, give them back. Like, everybody needs to go see a doctor. Everyone needs to seek help. No, but for real. And you may be wondering, where did Frank originate? What did he look like? Again, I didn't see, not again, I did not say this at all. I didn't see him per se. Like with Carrie, I saw her from the corner of my eye. I could make out what she looked like. Blonde girl, short, really young, white dress, lace, socks. But with Frank, it was different. It's like when he dropped shit or when he made stuff, we didn't see him head on. It was almost like an energy that it's like we knew it was a man. And then after a while of like he's knocking stuff over, he's in the house, it's almost like you create an idea of what he looks like in your brain. My mom, she's really gifted. She is really connected with that type of stuff. Like, ever since she's been young, she's been able to be in contact with the paranormal, like without trying, I guess you could say. I don't know how else to put it. She's a medium, I guess you could say. She knows things before they happen. She has a lot of premonition. She sees spirits and she prays for spirits, etc. And so I didn't know that obviously this was one genetic. I was gonna now be experiencing this, and also I didn't know that there was so many different ways for it to work. Like, whatever, like I just didn't understand how it worked. So it's like, do you see them? Like, because I'm like, how are you seeing something that's not there? You get what I'm saying? But now with Carrie, I got it because it's like corner of my eye. I can't see you head on. I can't see you straight ahead, but I can see you because that corner eye image is stuck in my brain, and so I can see it. And now I can make out a picture. My brain can, unpixelate it. But with Frank, it was more like, okay, this energy of a man is a man. But he didn't give me like, oh, scary. And up until we created, me and my mom, we were talking, we were like, he's pale, he has black hair for sure. And I don't know how else to explain it. It's more of like a feeling because I never looked at him head on and was like, there's Frank. I think I would have shot myself. I think Carrie is more understandable because she's a little girl. She died young. She's like little blonde, not doing anything. I mean, that's still spooky on its own. But Frank, no, if there's a grown ass man, which, spoiler alert, there ends up being, but if there's ever a fucking man ghost in the corner of my room, house, anywhere, like I'm being put into cardiac arrest, genuinely. So I never fully saw it, but I remember having this conversation with my mom, and she's like, well, the image is sometimes built in your head and the energy. It's so crazy how all that works. And yeah, Frank was just here for shits and giggles. He was literally just here to be a menace. He was here for the jokes, for the laughter. Oh, and like what even that's also so funny to me in like the grand scheme of things because I'm like, okay, you go back to source, you go back to God, you go back to heaven, whatever you want to call it. And then it's like, yeah, where were you? Just lingering, bothering this mom and daughter, throwing her pills around, running up her water bill. Yeah, and for what? Don't know. I was it's my house. Like I love the house or something. Whatever they could say. Me role playing a ghost. Anyway, so yeah, that's my take on my own Chad, my Carrie and my Frank. Um, Next story. What do we have? Oh, I like this one. This one was weird, guys. This one's this one's a little weird, but I love stuff that like also I like paranormal activity that is necessarily only pertaining to like maybe South American countries or like the Caribbean and stuff. I'm like, oh, what's going on over there? Like mermaids or sirens or like La Llorona and stuff like that. Anyway, so this one is called The Devil Wears a Suit. And it is written by Artichoke Perfect 4037. Hello, I recently started seeing a guy, and while we were sitting on the couch chatting casually, our attention suddenly turned to the other side of the room. His phone had just slid across a flat surface on its own. Okay, what is this? I didn't even realize this before when I picked these that they had that in common. He mentioned that he swears his house is haunted and started telling me about weird things that have been happening. So one thing led to another, and we started swapping ghost stories. I wasn't expecting him to tell me one of the most chilling stories I've ever heard. This story took place back when he was in high school. His parents were out of town, and he had a buddy over where they were drinking and hanging out. Later that night, his friends went home, and his high school girlfriend called the house saying they needed to talk and that she'd be over soon. He said he was sitting on the couch when there was a knock on the door. He got up, opened it, and no one was there. Confused, he went back to sit down. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw a shadow move. When he turned his head, he said he was met with a man in a suit and tie, just smiling at him. While he was staring at this man standing right in front of him, there was another knock at the door, and it snapped him back into reality. He answered it, and this time it was his girlfriend. He told her what he'd just seen, but she didn't believe him. Later, he told his grandmother what happened. She only spoke Spanish, and since he didn't speak it really well, he tried explaining it in broken Spanish. Before he could even finish, she started repeating, "That's the devil, that's the devil," and then told her own story. Back in Mexico, where she lived, there was a nightclub she and her friends went to one night. They met a handsome and charming man at the bar wearing a suit. One of her friends whispered that something fell off and told her to look at his legs. She said one leg was thin like chicken's and the other was curved like a goat's. One of the women was smitten with the man, so the grandmother and her other friend went to the bathroom, leaving the girl with him. In the bathroom, they heard screaming, and when they came out, the bar was on fire. It burned to the ground, and the friend and the man were never seen again. So now I'm wondering, has anyone ever heard stories about this man in a suit? Hello? I'm sorry, literally no. Like, literally no. Someone said, someone answered to that. They were like, I've heard a similar story from my dad, so it might be an urban legend. Back in the 60s, my dad said that in Mexico they banned the song Mambo Number 5 or Mambo Number 8 by Perez Prado. Reason for the ban was because a really beautiful woman was at a nightclub and none of the guys were paying attention to her or weren't her type. So she said to herself, I wish the devil would appear so I could dance. Something like that. Right after she said that, a well dressed man in a suit appeared in front of the club. All eyes were on him. He went straight to her and asked her to dance. Mambo number 5 or 8 started to play, and as they danced, people started to notice that man's shoes had turned to hooves and they started to levitate towards the ceiling. As they went up, she started to freak out and tried to grab onto wooden rafters. She had dug with her fingernails so deep that it left scratch marks on the wood. She screamed and immediately fell to the floor and died. Supposedly, to this day, you can still see the marks in the club. Now, I looked it up online and to see if this happened in TJ, but my family is from Jalisco, so this is why it's probably an urban legend. I do believe the paranormal though, because I've had so many crazy things happen. LOL. OMG. That is horrifying. I'm acting like this is my first time reading this. Guys, there's a reason why I had to tell you guys that story because one, literally good luck sleeping. Two, I mean, I don't know if you're religious or if you believe in any of that, but I believe evil is real, period. It can't touch me, but it's very much real. And so that is horrifying. And I also like I don't know if it's like my religious trauma, but I hate when we personify the devil. I hate when we personify him because it's like so chilling that like what do you mean hooves? What do you mean black suit dancing levitating in the to the ground to the ceiling like I am not well. I've never liked that. It probably is my religious trauma because when I was little I literally thought the devil was coming to get me. He was after me and solely me. So this is not a funny little cutesy little campfire story for me. This is scary, guys. And I'm not religious, like for real, but this is a little spooky. And I think it hits home because this is another ghost I need to talk to you guys about. We only had 3 ghosts in this house. Only. Only had 3 ghosts in this house. And the third one, we called him Red. How ironic that I decided to name this ghost Red. Because let's just take a wild guess what this ghost looked like. Yeah. Yeah. So once upon a time, I was in the basement with a bunch of my friends in middle school. Like we had the basement at the time. Now it's like its own apartment, but at the time it was all ours. So it was like a walk-in closet, the boiler room, a room in the back that was like originally built to like bake and like like hold bread and stuff, but now it's just storage. And then like the main basement is just like rug and bean bags. And so I used to bring my friends to go down there because my room is little. My mom doesn't like noise. Cool. As we know, Carrie and Frank were very much prevalent in my house. Like they were here. People knew about it. My friends knew about it. I mean, you can't not, like, I can't not be in middle school and not tell my friends, hey, there's literally 2 ghosts lingering in my house at all times. Help me. Um, so they were a little cautious coming over. So I'm sitting here with my friend Natalie. Mind you, my friend Natalie at the time, because we're not cool anymore, but my friend Natalie, she was similar to me. She like again, she's Mexican, so I don't know if it's because, us Hispanics have a lot of roots to that, but she believed in all that type of stuff and I don't know if she'd seen spirits, I generally don't remember. But that day we were all sitting in the basement talking about stuff and I don't remember what we were talking about, but out of nowhere, I swear to God, me and Natalie look at each other, we freeze because we get chills. Like we're literally frozen. We stop talking mid track, mid conversation, and we look at the corner of the basement room. Mind you, at the time, that corner had just one single chair. I know the rules. I know the rules, guys. But at the time, I didn't know the rules. And I guess my family didn't know the rules. And also, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm not going down there alone and reorganizing stuff. And my mom's going to be like, girl, you want me to cover up the chair? Like, my mom's gifted and stuff, but she's not scared. Like, my mom's not a scared woman. She'd be like, girl, but no, we all know what empty chairs do. So it's like, I'm not messing with the empty chair. Anyway, our eyes, like, we immediately, I don't know what changed. I don't know what we were talking about, but it's almost like me and Natalie felt his presence in the room and we froze and looked at that corner where the chair was. And, like, without saying a single thing to each other, guys, we bolt straight upstairs. Bolt straight upstairs. Mind you, we have a bunch of friends over. There's like 3 other friends over and they sit down there. They were mad confused. We bolted upstairs without saying anything. Like, and it's so weird because I remember me and her at the time, we were like, how did you know what I was talking about? How did you see? What did you see? And I swear to God, guys, we both saw a tall man with a hat and a suit and a tie, black suit, black tie, can't see his face at all, sitting on the chair with his hands together. Guys, that I cannot put it any better than that. Black suit, super tall, like long legs. I can't see your face, top hat, corner of the room, sitting on the chair. Absolutely not. And so I read this story about the devil wears a suit. Thank God that basement's not ours anymore because if it was, I was never stepping down. I was never stepping down there again. I'm sorry. And there's also another story about the basement. Then I could tell you guys easily because I already told you guys about Frank. Bro, one time I was down there with my best friend, my boy best friend Yorkie, and then I was down there with this guy that I liked at the time. Let's call him Peter. So Peter and Yorkie are literally in, yes, his name is Yorkie, are literally in my basement, right? Because we're just chilling, and I don't remember what we were doing. I think I was telling them about my ghosts. Yorkie does not play that shit. He does not play that shit. He's like, immediately no. Immediately no, I will never come back to your house again. And honestly, valid, like so valid. On the other hand, Peter was nothing like this. He was actually the complete opposite. He was like, yeah, yeah, Frank? Fuck Frank. Frank isn't real. Fuck him. You know how, like, okay, boys already as it is, like, need to relax. But like a middle school boy, like a middle schooler, oh my god. And mind you, we're in the basement talking, and even Yorkie's telling him, like, dude, relax. Like, don't be saying shit. Like, just chill. And Peter's just cursing him out. He's just in the basement, like, well, fuck Frank. I don't care. Rah, rah, rah. And I was like, word? Okay, come on. I was like, let's go to the boiler room. Because the boiler room was like super scary. Like, the lights didn't really turn on. And if they did, they were super dim. And you know, boiler rooms aren't really pretty to begin with. But we did have like a metal rack in that boiler room. And my brother is military. So he would hold, you know, his stuff down there. He would put his white tees down there and like his duffel bags or whatever. So there was like a white tee folded on the top of that metal shelf. So I remember telling Peter, I'm like, okay, Peter, let's go. Let's go, Peter. Let's go to the boiler room and let's see if you can, you know, talk your hot shit to Frank now. Talk your shit to Frank now. So I hold Yorkie's hand and I hold Peter's hand, right? Both my hands are occupied, guys. I think this is like common sense because I'm holding a hand in each hand and I only have two arms, two hands. Yorkie's in front. Am I lying? He would never be in front. Peter's in front. Yeah, Peter's in front. That's the whole point of the story. Peter's in front, holding the flashlight, right, with one hand, holding my other hand, and my other hand is holding one of Yorkie's hands, and he's in the back, maybe holding a flashlight too. I don't know. I don't remember. Peter's like, fuck you, Frank. Come out, Frank. 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 Literally. And the boiler room is not that long. Like, we're walking. Bro, I promise you, it didn't take long for Frank to show himself. That same white shirt that's folded above on on that metal rack, it didn't just fall off, guys. Like, one, was it fully completely on the shelf? Yes. No edge of it was like over anything that maybe it could have been touched and it slipped off. Not only did one, it did not slip off. It launched itself into the fucking ether and like, and it was not falling off. Like, it wasn't even near to the edge. It literally, like, I'm telling you, the flash was on. Two flashes are on, or at least one flash is on. If there's something white, the light is going to reflect it and make it look bright. Like, I'm telling you, I saw it. That shirt looked like someone picked it up off that shelf and flinged it. Like, it was an L shape. It was like, boom. Like, it came, boom, directly at Peter. I have never seen two boys run faster in their life. In their life. It almost like it almost felt planned. It almost felt like I almost felt like Wednesday. Like, I almost felt like Lydia, like, you know, like Lydia Dietz, like, and I had nothing to do with it. It's just like, why are you rage baiting the ghost right now? Why are you rage baiting the ghost that has, mind you, not even just like Carrie, you know? You're rage baiting the ghost that is constantly moving things around in my house. Yeah, safe to say, Yorkie has never come back to my house since, and I'm pretty sure Peter came back because I was like talking to him for a little bit in middle school. What are you doing, girl? But and then after that he was gone, and honestly good because Frank clearly did not like him, guys. It was very very clear that that shirt was thrown. And it's so funny because they thought I was crazy. Like, I immediately started laughing because I'm like, what did you think was going to happen if I'm literally telling you? Am I lying? Right. How's the shirt taste? Anyway, next one. So the next story we have is called Two for One. And it was posted under a subreddit called Give Me, well, yeah, someone said, Give me your best spine chilling real life ghost stories. And it was posted by Zealous Ideal like eyeball 836. He says, I moved around a lot as a kid. We were the kind of family that would have boxes that would always go unopened and undisturbed between moves. My dad was a good guy, but had issue with authority, so he usually had issues keeping a stable job for more than a year or so. So when the leave was up, we'd move closer to his new job. Anyways, during one of these moves, my dad found a steal next to his job. It was an old 2-bed, 1-bath house with a detached garage. I want to say it was around 300 a month for rent in 2003, guys. I'm not even gonna tell you how that made me feel just now. Apparently, it was a rough part of town. The landlord told us, I won't go into specifics, but I am required to tell you that someone has passed away in the house within the last 5 years. My dad saw a great deal and shrugged it off. We moved in soon after, and things started really quickly. There were noises in the house all the time. It was like we had other people living there. It would generally be noises that you would expect when other people were around. Think like drawers opening and closing, doors swinging around on their own, or water turning on in the bathroom and then back off. Nothing malicious was happening, so we just lived with it. Um, same. Okay. Another weird quirk about the house was that the front door had a keyhole on both sides, which is, guys, when I first read this, I was like, what? This has to be in the UK. Like, what? Only in Europe. Like, I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. But every time I find out, like, even like when you connect to the wall and like things are so different over there about houses, and I'm just like, wow. Anyway, so you could not leave the locked house unless you had the keys. You can probably guess where this is going, but not a week or so after we moved in, we lost the keys. Boxes still littered the house, and we were still unpacking hell. So my dad, obviously stressed from the whole situation, started getting loud about the keys. He accused me of stealing them. He was cursing and being a general pain. Then, out of nowhere, we hear the keys hit the floor in the living room, right in front of the couch onto the ground. He picks them up, tries to rationalize what just happened, says fuck it, and leaves the house for work. Over the next few months, the stupid keys are the center of the activity. My dad would put them in a glass bowl on top of the TV every day after work, and somehow they would be moved by the morning. My favorite spot by far was when we would find them in sealed boxes of pots and pans that we needed to unpack. It had those little hand holes on the side of the box, like someone just shoved it in there out of spite. We all got a good laugh out of that one. Jesus Christ. I mean, this is, you see, guys, like, I'm not alone. This is the shit that you're dealing with. Like, what's going on? Right now, you're probably like, okay, what's spine chilling about some noises and some key moving around? Well, here you go. The worst thing that happened fairly frequently was the stomping. Most nights around 2 to 3 a.m., there would be heavy footsteps pacing in the hallway outside the bedrooms. I confirmed with my dad when I was older that yes, it kind of freaked him out too. We had been living in the space for about 8 months at this point, and I was probably around 8 years old. I heard the stomping one night and I just couldn't take it. I screamed out into the hallway, "Stop stomping around! I need to sleep, goddammit!" 15 seconds of silence was abruptly interrupted by what sounded like a bull running full speed into my room. Then my door had 3 aggressive slamming knocks, one after the other. It was so loud my dad woke up to check on me. My stomach started to turn, and I suddenly felt like I had to use the toilet. I was frozen in bed when I heard my dad call out to me, "You okay, buddy?" from his bedroom. I mustered up the courage to head out the hallway. As I got up, I could tell something wasn't right. I was shaking like a leaf, and my bowels were trying to evacuate while I was walking. I ran as fast as I could to the toilet, but it did not help. There was a trail from the hallway between my bedroom and the toilet, and my poor dad, worried about my safety, followed me into the bathroom to figure out what just happened. I explained everything, crying on the toilet, making a mess of myself and the house. I was embarrassed and terrified. After this, my dad told me, if you ever feel uncomfortable, you can sleep in my room. Nothing can bug you when I'm around. Clock it. Clock it, father. Because, well, no, you're making me literally shit myself. In my home. The final straw came a week later. My dad had been dating a girl for over a year and she had been staying with us more and more. One of the nights she stayed over, they had a really minor fight right before bed. I think it was about cleaning or chores. Anyways, they both went to bed grumpy about it. Right around the magic 2 to 3 a.m. mark, his girlfriend got yanked out of bed by one of her ankles and dragged out the bedroom and down the hallway. Guys, when I was reading this, I'm like, what in the fucking Conjuring, what in the Bly House Manor is going on? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean they just dragged out of the hallway? And then people are like, they don't exist. It's not real. Dragged out the hallway. By her account, she woke up after she was on the floor and felt someone pulling on her leg, and it took her a while to realize exactly what was happening. She shrieked, and whatever it was let go. She ran back into the bedroom and turned the lights on and explained the whole thing to my dad. He sent me off to an aunt's and stayed in the house alone for a few months while looking for another place to go. He figured it would be safer without me there. During the packing and moving out of my house, my dad and some friends swing by to keep him company while he packed. Almost everyone who came by to help him mentioned that they saw a small white dog walking around right when they entered the house. Yeah, that place was haunted as fuck. I still think about it from time to time. I wonder if the people who live there now deal with the same stuff, or if it's calmed down. And little bonus extra, my dad's girlfriend had brought a yoga ball to the house, and I was a rambunctious 8-year-old. I wanted to play with it all the time. She tells me I can play with it, but I have to be careful. So we lightly toss it back and forth in the hallway. After a minute or two, I toss the ball and it literally freezes midair before it makes it to her and comes right back to me. She was mortified. I was too young to realize what happened, so she didn't want to freak out her boyfriend's 8-year-old son. So she quickly just said she didn't want to play anymore and went to do something else. I'm so sorry, but that's not giving ghost at all. That's giving demon. Why are you dragging people out of their bed, making little ass kids shit themselves? I'm sorry, but like, I would literally never forget that. And mind you, he's just like, what a deal. $300. Somebody just died in this house. Who cares? Guys, no. We need to do some research. We need to do research. I, yeah, no. There's just so many parts of this that are fucked up. Like, not only are you completely scared, but you're also embarrassing yourself and it's not your fault. And it's like, obviously, your dad is not judging you, but it's like, dude, like, no. And all because of like, guys, literally, like, I'm sorry, but I go down like a quantum physics rabbit hole all the time just because of energy. Energy that could never be destroyed. That's what it is. Unless it's a demon. Because then you're fucking with, then you need to call someone. You might need to call Ed and Lorraine Warren because it's getting crazy in there. I don't know what else to say, guys. I mean, I'm glad he's out of that. I'm glad that that's just in the past and that they moved out of that house and his dad believed him, because I think it would have been completely worse if his dad just like gaslit him, like how they do in horror movies where they're like, no, that's actually not real. It didn't happen. You're hallucinating. You're crazy. Like, no. Okay. This is the last story from Reddit before I give you one of the craziest bangers I have in my vault. It's not my own personal story, but it is a family member's story. But before that, let's get into Riley Max 0796's story on Reddit. For context, I believe to this day that the vast majority of, not all, paranormal videos and photos have a plausible explanation outside of the paranormal. This means that these videos and photos can be easily explained away as either CG, poor quality cameras, pareidolia, or as outright fakes. Needless to say, I do believe that there still can be some paranormal shit that happens. His words. However, at the time when this happened, about 8 years ago, when I didn't believe in ghosts as much, my family and I were staying at the Fort Garry Hotel in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I hope I'm saying that right. I had a few spare moments and decided to explore the hotel because it was absolutely beautiful. I got lost as I usually do in buildings since I get directionally challenged the moment I step into one. Real. Anyways, I happened to run into someone that looked like they worked for the hotel, but weren't house cleaning or a clerk. So I was unsure of their position or job. I asked for direction back to the lobby since I had to meet my family in a few minutes. The moment I arrived in the lobby, I walked past the front desk, a clerk, and a security guard. They were staring at me in shock and pale faces. The security guard asked me who I was talking with earlier for directions back to the lobby. I told him I thought I was talking to someone who worked at the hotel. Well, wouldn't you know, it turns out that floor I was on, I can't remember it for the life of me, has a bunch of paranormal shit that goes on regularly. I didn't know if he was supposed to, but the security guard showed me the footage he had just seen. The person I was talking with never appeared on the security feed, even though they should have been in plain view. It was super creepy because I had shaken this person's hand for some reason, and the footage just showed me shaking hands with air. The person appeared in front of me as any other person would have. When I touched their hand, it felt like any squishy person would normally, and yet never showed up on the footage. There was no way I could have blocked that person from the view of the camera, either as I'm only 5'6". The security guard even pulled a second angle for further proof. No one believes me despite the footage. To this day, I still don't know how to explain it. Okay, crazy take, but what if this is an alien? No, I'm kidding. It might genuinely be a ghost. But, like, what do you mean you felt their hand? Like, imagine you're just like, you shook someone's hand, clammy and all. Oh, good grip. Literally was never there. Literally, you weren't talking to no one. Uh, that is horrific. And I think it's actually scary how many stories I've heard similar to this. Because what do you mean? That being said, I'm going to wrap up this video with one of the spookiest stories I have ever heard in my life. And it was told to me by my mother and experienced by my uncle. My mom's Ecuadorian and I'm Ecuadorian. I'm also Dominican from my dad's side, but most of my mom's family lives in Ecuador still. She has a sibling that lives here in America, but everybody else from my mom's side basically lives in Ecuador. So, meaning my uncle, he lives in Ecuador. My mom told me that he came to her with this story absolutely horrified. My uncle's a lawyer. He is a studied man. He actually also welds. He has his own welding what do you call it, welding shop, like under his house. Like, he makes doors, chairs, tables, fences. Okay, and he's a lawyer. He passed the bar. He's a lawyer. Okay. It takes a lot to chill this man. This is a man who has been born and raised in the slums of Ecuador, that now is super educated and working for the law. You cannot scare this man. He is actually super funny, super cool, and I actually really look up to him. Not to say that I don't now because of this story. I think any person that would experience this would be absolutely horrified. But I just want you to understand really the severity of the situation, because this is not just anybody. And I also want you guys to know this because I need you to know that it's real life. Like, if literally any other one of my uncles told me this story or told my mom this story because he didn't tell me, I'd be like, that's probably BS and whatever. Not to shit on my uncles, my other uncles, I love them, but out of all of my uncles, he's the one who has his head on like the straightest. He has zero screws loose. If he has a slight screw loose, that's probably just his humor. Like, he's a funny guy, but he's super educated, super serious, and a man of the law. Like, he's not fucking around. All right, so let's get into it. He says that one day he was walking down the street with his buddy after work or after doing something with him. I don't remember specifics. Him and his buddy are walking down the street and they pass this park. Him and his buddy are just having a conversation. My uncle is a really like um not, I wouldn't say social, but like generous man. He tries to help a lot of people. I mean, I guess that's why he's a lawyer, but he really just loves to help and he loves to give a helping hand. So he's walking by the park after chilling with his friend, having a conversation, and he sees this woman crying. I think it's just my uncle. My uncle sees this woman cry. I'm actually going to ask for specifics because, and I'll put it in the edit because I'm not sure if both his friend and him saw, but I'm pretty sure it was just him. He sees this woman on the bench crying, but then again, I'm like, His friend has to have seen it too because his friend was probably like, why the hell would he just leave me here? You know? They see this woman crying on the bench, right? Probably like early 40s, you know, late 30s, crying, crying. And my uncle can't help himself and he's like, I'm gonna see what's wrong with her. You know, I don't want it to be like two men approaching her, so I'll catch you later. But he's like, you know what? Hell yeah, you got that, bro. My uncle approaches her and they get to talking on the bench. He's like, how can I help you? Are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm just really upset, not having the best day. Da da da. He's like, how can I help you? She's like, okay. Like, he's like, can I walk you home? Like, it's okay. Like, you shouldn't be crying out here. I don't remember, specifics. She's like, no, it's fine. Like, my car's parked right there. Um, do you want to come to my house for coffee? I think this was after they had like a good conversation. He helped her out of like why she was sad and what was wrong or whatever. She's like, my car's right there, right there. I live like really close. Like, I'll drive us. And he's like, sure, fine. So my uncle gets in her car and then she starts driving to her house. She's driving, everything's fine, and then they get there. My uncle, as nice and as generous as he is, before entering the house, immediately starts getting like an idea of like, okay, where am I? Is there a back door? What can happen? Because even if he's a man, you never know. And you never know if there's other people in there waiting for you. You never know. You just really never know. So he tells my mom, he immediately was like, okay, just in case, here's the back door, here's what I can do, whatever. Goes inside, she makes him coffee, and they're drinking coffee, right? She invites him into the room because I think she goes to her bedroom and he's like, well, I'm gonna get going soon. She's like, no, just like wait, give me a second. This is again when the idea sparks in his mind again. He's like, okay, maybe she's really not okay in the head. He's like, all right, I'll go in your room for a little, but I have to get going, like delicious coffee, whatever. She's like, yeah, I just have to iron some clothes. We can finish chatting. And then he's like, I can walk home. And she's like, no, it's fine. I can drop you. I can drop you. Don't worry. I can drop you. And he's like, no, it's fine. I can walk. She's like, just let me iron my clothes real quick. This woman pulls out a bag of clothes, like a small bag. And the clothes that are in there are doll clothes. Not joking. Doll clothes. Like not baby clothes, doll clothes. And she starts ironing it on the ironing board. My uncle's trying to be nice, but he's also like, hello, what's going on? Immediately, he starts thinking again, okay, there's the back door. There's something I can leave just in case, whatever. He starts telling her, okay, I have to go. It was really nice meeting you. I'm glad I got to help you today. She's like, no, please don't leave. He's like, no, unfortunately, I have to go. Coffee has been great, but rah, rah, rah. I'm getting a little bit weird. What's going on? I shit you not, guys. She starts reaching under her pillow, because mind you, they're in her room. She starts reaching under her pillow that's on top of her bed, and she had fat ass fabric scissors. And she is on my uncle. Mind you, my uncle, he's what we say in Spanish, like pilas, like batteries is the immediate translation. But basically, he's locked in. Like, my uncle's a really smart man. So the second he already started getting a little weird vibe off her, and then the second he saw those clothes, he was like, oh, yeah, what the hell is this? I gotta go. Where's the back door? When she started reaching for those scissors, he dipped. I'm telling you, he ran. He said he ran all the way home. This is why he was so scared to tell my mom, because he ran all the way home absolutely horrified. He was like, oh my God, like she could have killed me. Like the scissors were huge and she was absolutely hysterical. And it wasn't making sense what she was saying. And like he just couldn't communicate with her like a normal human anymore. He was like, what the hell's going on? And he dipped. Good thing that when he got there, he was like, okay, this is where everything is at. Point being, like a week later, he is thinking about her again because his buddy had asked him like, yo, whatever ended up happening, whatever. And he's a little hesitant to talk to him about it. He's just like, yeah, she's good, I helped her out, whatever. So he's like, you know what, nah, like real shit, like what happened to that lady? Like, is she okay? Should I call the cops on her? Did she go see somebody? Does she need help? Like, what is, like, after a week of that, when it's really settling in, you're like, what the hell was that? What the fuck was that? So he goes back because it was close enough to his house. He goes back. And in Ecuador, what a lot of people do is they like just take chairs. I think in a lot of places, but they take plastic chairs and they just put them outside of their house and then they just like sit there and drink beer and stuff. Especially if there's like bodegas nearby or houses that sell beers. Like that's business over there. Um, So there was people doing that around her house. So when my uncle went back, he was like knocking on the door, trying to get in. And the guys looked at him and they asked him, they're like, yo, like, who are you looking for? Because everybody talks to each other over there. And my uncle was like, oh, I'm looking for this woman. Like, she lived on this floor. I saw her a week ago. And they were like, what woman? And they were like, and he like starts describing her and he's like, yeah, I was here with her a week ago, but she seemed a little, I just wanted to check on her and see if she was okay. They proceed to tell my uncle that nobody has lived in that building in over a decade. These are neighbors. This is like house right next door. And these people spend their time outside. Like, I lived in Ecuador for 2 years, guys. Like, we are outside. They're outside. Like, what do you mean nobody has lived in that house for a decade? My uncle's asking questions. He's like, what do you mean? Nobody has moved? Like, are you sure there's not a woman? Maybe I confused apartments. No. He did everything that he had to make sure that he wasn't tripping. No one lived there. No woman, no. So I have a couple questions, but I'm going to start with two. One, how the actual fuck did she drive that car? No, someone answer me. Someone answer me. Because this is the first question I had to ask my mom. Because imagine my mom coming to me being like, bro, your uncle hasn't, mind you, she told me that my uncle hasn't told any other, here I am putting it on. Here I am putting it online. But my uncle hasn't told anybody else this story. He just told my mom because of the type of person that my mom is, what she believes in, how she is, what she's experienced. And because everybody else would probably look at him like, are you fucking okay? Do you need to go see a doctor? I don't think you can work for the law anymore. I don't think you can, like, are you well? No, guys, it's real life. And I want to know who the fuck drove that car? How was that possible? I, okay, that's my first question. My second question is, if this is true, how did we get into the house? If there's cameras into the house, let's say that someone put a camera into the house, or there was some way to record him into that house, right? Which there isn't. But I'm just saying, if there was somehow, you're telling me he was just in there talking to himself? Who made the coffee? I'm so confused. Was he hallucinating coffee? I have so many questions. I said I had two. I have so many questions. Until this day, I don't know. Like, I literally don't know. I asked my mom everything and she was like, your uncle's so scared. Like, he only told me because he was like, no one else is going to believe me. And it gets to that point where it's like, that's not even a ghost. I'm sorry. Like, because how does a ghost drive a car? I'm so confused. I hope you're just as confused as me. And I hope that this episode did everything it did for you, that it did for me. Because I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. And also, I'm going to have to call my uncle. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you like my stories. I hope this was a fun, spooky little episode for you. Please leave questions down below and please let me know if you have ever had any weird, freaky paranormal activity experiences, moments, anything. Please leave it down below. Or if you've heard it, if your family has told you what you think about what I just said about my uncle, please leave me theories down below of what you think. What is that? Like, what is that? All right, guys. Thank you so much. I love you. Again, I love you so much. Anyone who's here, everyone who's listening. Yeah, tune into the next episode of Lucky Me, and I will catch you guys next time on the flip. Don't have any nightmares.